Well, growing season is definitely over, but as the year finishes out, I just want to check out some of those bud grafts that we did back in August of 2020. They healed over that following winter, and then in the spring I updated you guys, showed you how they pushed out some growth. Today I want to go back through and show how those buds have pushed out full-on shoots, and I want to show you the progress on all those different grafts as well as some of the other stone fruit that I showed throughout those videos. So let's go check it out. So starting up here by the house, I've got 3 of those Finger Lakes Super Hardy that I bud grafted in those initial videos. Those 3 are planted out here. Checking out that growth. All they had was that bud shooting out, and I snipped off the existing rootstock that I'd grafted to right here. And so now you can see how that has really shot off, made the full tree at this point. And unless you get way down here, you almost forget that it's even a grafted tree. I'm going to go for more of a traditional open center or possibly a delayed open center. I haven't quite decided what I want to do, but I absolutely want to make sure I get high enough here that I can mow around this without any difficulty whatsoever. As the tree grows, we can work off some of these lower branches and start selecting higher ones so we get the shape we want, starting off at the heights we want. Moving just down about 20 feet, I've got this second one here. It didn't grow quite as tall, but about the same results here. You can see how it's even tried to push out just a little bit from that initial rootstock, so that'll be something I'll snip off when I prune this just a little bit come spring. And the final one from those initial bud grafts is here. There was a 4th one I had that I went ahead and gave to my in-laws, and they put it down on their property. You can see it's also choosing to push off this way. I'll probably clean these cuts up on these come spring just to try and get that to heal over a little bit better. That was just the initial cut just to make sure it shot off that way, and I saved an extra bud or 2 in case it would fail, but I don't need that anymore, and I want that to really heal over and be a cleaner cut, so we'll definitely get to that in the spring. But you can see on these already the buds that are prepared for growing next year, so definitely good stuff going on in here. All I really did with any of these was get some mulch put around them just to help keep them from fighting against weeds. I didn't really do much to them as far as fertilizer, just maybe applied once or twice throughout the entire year. This was all fairly well just growth from growing here. I didn't amend the soil whatsoever other than the wood chips on top as well. Moving on to the rows of peach trees over here. Most of these are still just the original red leaf Indian peach trees that they originally were. Haven't grafted over most of them, but there are a few in here that I have grafted over. Here's one right here, so we'll take a look at how this is doing here. I'm trying to really get this one pushed out just a little bit more, trying to train it a little further. That's why that's there. So you come down here, you can see where that graft was right here, and this is where the old branch was, and it really took off. I mean, that is even more growth than you saw in the previous. That's an advantage there to having this tree already in the ground, already has its own root system, and then we graft to it, and it really just pushes out. Over here you've got the same thing. From this side you can't even tell that's where I grafted it, but you have to go around the side. You can see where I cut off the old here. And that right there is just a ton of growth, really shooting up. And it's really awesome because this one even already has some flower buds. So you've got 2 buds on the side and a leaf bud on the middle there. So, you know, that's going to be 2 flowers. So as long as we don't get too cold this winter, we'll even see this bloom out next spring. So that'll be really fun to see all this lit up with blooms. So really excited about that. And I also grafted onto these 2 here. We come take a look down here. You can see this is where that graft was here. And there's all the growth it's pushed out. It's also got flower buds all along it too. So we'll see how that does. My guess is they came on this early because I am training them into this V shape. So that could be causing them to put that out early. On this side as well, we've got the graft union here and the old spot here. Again, just need to clean up all of these, but overall Not too big of a deal at this point. And over here, I had some mulching helpers, and one of them did bust off the graft I had here, but I've been training out at least the rootstock here to grow up the side. I could either graft this over next spring or go ahead and let it remain that variety. But on this side we've got that Finger Lakes Super Hardy as well. I'll probably do a lot more curl-free peach next year for my grafting, because I found they didn't have the split pits. I thought they did really well. And there is a few weeks between the Finger Lakes Super Hardy and the curl-free, so having both of those in good quantities will kind of stretch out that harvest and give us a little more time to react to each variety. So some of these down the line will probably get grafted over with the curl-free. Finally, we've got a few grafted here that are in pots. These were all grafted back on Father's Day when I had some time, and got those 3 out here. So this first one here, you can see it's got different colored leaves still on each side. Even though we're getting into fall and everything's changing, you can tell that the grafted variety is over here. This is the Finger Lakes Super Hardy, and this is the Red Leaf Indian Peach. And the Graft Union down here, pretty obvious since I've still got some of that parafilm on there. And that's grown real well. Got a good angle here, so this will be a good one to add into those rows I've got. And then we've got this peach here. So this one I grafted here with several buds, letting 2 of the buds come out and not go any further up. And then this will split out into a V as well. And then finally we've got this Montrose apricot, and it started to lose its leaves at this point, but it's kind of companion planting itself with some asparagus that was in the compost that I used here. So that's kind of an unintentional experiment there, as well as this sage that also found its way in here. So apparently just growing about everything we can in this pot here. But I have read some that asparagus isn't a bad companion plant for trees anyway, so we'll see what we do with that. Might split them apart whenever I go to plant this out. I want to get this out in the orchard since it's the only one of this variety I have, so I'll probably do that come spring. So yeah, I'm really excited about all the different progress we've made with some of these grafts and how they've grown in, and even some of them putting on these flower buds for next year. Really excited to see how well that works, and just how soon we might get some of the fruits for our labor. So stay tuned if you want to see more updates, and if you really enjoyed this video, be sure and check out this one next. Thanks for watching.